Matt, what do you think of the Jets draft, and particularly how it pertains to helping Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, Field, I think they got jumped for the last remaining left tackle who could come and play right away by the Pittsburgh Steelers when Broderick Jones went. I have to be honest, I don't think they did enough to help Aaron Rodgers up front. They did not get a starting caliber left tackle. They drafted Carter Warren in the 4th round from Pitt, and while he has started 40 games in college, there's injury concerns. And this is a player that when I talked to scouts before the draft, they thought, he's probably going to play right tackle in the NFL. This is probably going to be a position change, maybe even a guard. They draft Joe Tippmann, the center that you mentioned, in round 2, but they had just signed Connor McGovern, a free agent center, a couple days before the draft so that they wouldn't have to go after a center. We have to remember Elijah Vera Tucker, who moved from left guard to right guard last year, tore his triceps, the very play after Breece Hall tore his ACL. So there's a lot of moving parts on this Jets offensive line that wasn't that good a year ago. So if it's still Dwayne Brown, if it's Max Mitchell or Mekhi Becton at right tackle, guys, the offensive line in New York is a big question mark. And it's why, if I had to do it right now, I would say the Bills and Dolphins are still ahead of the Jets, even with the great Aaron Rodgers there at quarterback.
Yeah, I think so. There's still definitely some concerns when you're talking about this offensive line. And look, I like Joe Tippmann a lot. I think he's a guy who's a ready-made starter at the NFL, despite some people feeling as though he needs to change positions and maybe move to guard. I think they got a good one. The tackle position is going to still be a problem. And you know that there are some very, very good edge rushers that can make life real miserable, for Aaron Rodgers. But what I do love about this football team is the fact that, look, at the wide receiver positions, I mean, they are set at the skill positions. They're set at wide receiver. Garrett Wilson is going to take a huge jump. Alan Lazard is going to help him with that. At tight end, I love Tyler Conklin. I loved him when he was in Minnesota. I think he's going to love Aaron Rodgers, obviously. I think at running back, with the return to health of Breece Hall and the drafting of a guy like Izzy Abanikanda from Pitt, I mean, they have one of the best running back rooms in the NFL, period.
Yep.
Period. And then on the defensive side, look, Will McDonald is just going to juice up this already good pass rush, and the secondary will be good to go. Look, I think this team, although it's made some improvements, the offensive line is still an issue. Everybody knows that I like some other teams in the East anyway, but I think right now they're closer. They're much, much closer. We'll have to keep a real close eye on that offensive line, though.
Yeah, Louis, the word that I think about when I think of the Jets all year, it's going to be chemistry. It's not just the chemistry of the offensive line and the new pieces. It's now they have a new OC, granted not new to Aaron Rodgers, but you've got new skill players and Alan Lazard, and you got guys coming in, and Randall Cobb, obviously. So chemistry is going to be key. How quickly does Aaron Rodgers develop chemistry, whether it's going to be Tippmann or it's going to be McGovern with his center and the rest of his offensive linemen, but also the skill players. But as somebody who covered the same old Jets, it's very hard to not look at this team and get excited, because just the addition of Aaron Rodgers, you think, okay, this at least offsets some of the deficiencies that might be here. But again, Aaron Rodgers, if we're being objective, he is closer to 40 than he is 20 or even 30. So you don't want a player at that age to then have to be worrying about chemistry on my offensive line. So it is a concern.
I'm a little bit less concerned about you guys on the offensive line because of, again, this bi-level haircut for Joe Tippmann. Business in the front, party in the back. Take a look at the Wisconsin waterfall, who says he might keep the mullet around longer than expected, especially with Joe Douglas, the GM, giving it a shout-out at the draft.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.